The House will come to order. Members, our prayer today will be given by Pastor Quentin Bird of the Free Will Missionary Baptist Church here in Montgomery, and he is the guest of Representative Hassel.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Let us bow for a word of prayer. Eternal God, source of all wisdom, truth, and justice, we pause at the beginning of this session to acknowledge that we need you in this place. God, we need your wisdom to be greater than our own. We ask you would give us courage that's deeper than ambition and humility that's strong enough to listen. God, we pray that in a time of division that you would calm our spirits. We ask, oh God, that where there is fear, you would give clarity. Where there is anger, you would give restraint. Where there is uncertainty, oh God, we pray that you would give us clarity. Father, we pray that you would remind us that every decision made in this chamber touches real lives, real families, real communities, and future generations. God, we pray that we never forget the dignity of those to whom we serve, especially the vulnerable, the overlooked, and even the unheard. Father, we pray now that you would grant these leaders discernment beyond party, integrity beyond pressure, and the grace to seek the common good even when the path may be difficult. Help us to speak truth with kindness, to disagree without contempt, and to act not for personal gain, but for the welfare of all. May justice be guided by compassion. May power be tempered by mercy. And may this work be worthy of the trust that you've placed in our hands. We ask this now in the strong and in the mighty name of Jesus our Savior. That all say amen.
Amen. Members, today's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by James Chapman. He is a seventh grader at Berry Middle School and is paging for Representative Shaw.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair recognizes Speaker Ledbetter.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. It's certainly a pleasure of mine today to swear in Christina. I think she's going to do a great job for this body, and we're excited about having her here. So if her and her family would come down, we will be delighted to be able to swear them in.
Support the Constitution of the United States.
The chair recognizes Representative Kristen Nelson for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you. Good morning. Whew, it's been a long journey to get here, but we have made it. So to God be all the praise, honor, and glory. Amen. Thank you to all my amazing family. I have a whole entourage up there who are supporting me. So thank you. And thank you to all the wonderful supporters in District 38. It is my honor to serve. And Mr. Speaker, fellow representatives, it is my honor to serve alongside you. So now let's get to work.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Speaker, Albright, Baker, Barnes, Bedsole, Blackshire, Bolton, Boyd, Bracy, Brinyark, Brown, Butler, Carnes, Chestnut, Clark, Klaus, Collins, Colvin, Crawford, Crow, Daniels, Datcher, Drummond, DeBose, Easterbrook, Ellis, England, Ensler, Estes, Faulkner, Fiddler, Fincher, Fort, Garrett, Gidley, Gavan, Givens, Gray, Hall, Hammett, Harrison, Hassel, Hendricks, Hill, Holt Jones, Hollis, Hulsey, Hurst, Ingram, Jackson, Jones, Keel, Kirkland, Lamb, Lands, Lawrence, Lee, Lipscomb, Lomax, Lovern, Marcus, McCampbell, McClammy, Mooney, Moore M, Moore P, Morris, Myricks, Nelson, Oliver, Paramore, Pascal, Pettis, Pringle, Rafferty, Ream, Reynolds, Rigsby, Robbins, Robertson, Ross, Sellers, Sells, Shaver, Shaw, Shirey, Simpson, Smith, Sorrells, Stahagen, Standridge, Starnes, Stringer, Stubbs, Tillman, Travis, Treadaway, Underwood, Wadsworth, Warren, Witt, Wharton, Wilcox, Wood, Yarbrough.
58 members have an answered roll. A quorum is present. The House is ready to transact business.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Chairman Lovern.
Mr. Speaker, I request that leaves of absence be granted for absent members.
Any objection? Hearing no objection, the absent members is granted. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I have a report.
House of Representatives, your Standing Committee on Rules begs leave to report that it has carefully examined the Journal of the House for the 9th legislative day and finds the same to be correct. Signed, Representative Joe Lovern, Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the reading of the journal at length for the 9th legislative day be dispensed with.
Are there any objections? Hearing no objections, the reading of the journal is dispensed with. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Mobile, Speaker Pro Tem Pringle, for the purpose of making announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget the next Thursday, the artist will be here to take a group photograph of us in the chamber. It's very important everybody be here at 9 a.m. sharp at your desk. We're getting a picture of the last legislative body to ever meet in this chamber. So I want everybody here next Thursday. Also, don't forget, next Thursday is the Capitol Commission. That's Tuesday, Bible study from 11 to 11:30 in room 602. And next Tuesday, February the 10th, is Legislative ID Day. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Mr. Pro Tem, you're further recognized for motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when we adjourn today, we leave the journal open for the clerk to complete his paperwork, and we reconvene on Tuesday, February the 10th at 1 p.m.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion prevails. Clerk now receive reports of standing committees. Receive those reports throughout the day. The House is now in position to introduce bills and resolutions.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 16 by Senator Allen, mourning the death and celebrating the life of Sam Palmer Fawcett III. Senate Joint Resolution Number 27 by Senator Bell, mourning the death and celebrating the life and legacy of William Grant Lynch, Jr. Senate Joint Resolution Number 26 by Senator Allen, mourning the death and honoring the life of John David Williams.
I move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? They are adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 69 by Representative Shirey, designating January as National Blood Donor Month.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 70 by Representative Shaver, commending the Alabama Scenic River Trail and winners of the 2025 Great Alabama 650 race.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 71 by Representative Clark, commending Roberta Swan on her retirement as director of the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Resolution Number 72 by Representative DeBose, declaring February 6, 2026, Wear Red Day in the state of Alabama.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 76 by Representative Crawford, commending Sandra Thompson for her outstanding leadership as director of the Alabama Veterans Museum and Archives.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 77 by Representative Hall, commending United States Army Command Sergeant Major Kevin D. Harkey on his accomplishments.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 83 by Representative Standridge, commending Mitchie Clegg Neal on the occasion on her retirement.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 85 by Representative Ross, honoring the life, service, and legacy of Dr. Neil E. Christopher.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 86 by Representative Marcus, commending Tobin Roth on being installed as the international president of Theta Chi fraternity.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution number 87 by Representative Marcus, honoring John Mitchell Jr. for his service to the retail automotive business in Alabama.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution number 14 by Senator Chambliss, commending Drew and Lauren Winland as America's top young farm family.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It's adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution number 28 by Senator Butler, commending Sandra Thompson for her outstanding leadership as director of the Alabama Veterans Museum and Archives.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution number 31 by Senator Jones, commending Mackenzie Grace Stigel on her accomplishments.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution number 32 by Senator Elliott, recognizing and congratulating the Alabama School of Mathematics and Science on their 2026 national ranking as the 19th best public school in America and number 1 in Alabama.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted. Mr. Clerk, let's go to the uncontested local bills, please.
On page 38 of the calendar, House Bill number 355 by Representative Lee, relating to Houston County.
Question for the body is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk unlock machine and the members will vote. Clerk lock machine, record the votes. 55 yeas, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Question now is final passage of HB 355. Clerk unlock machine and the members will vote. Clerk lock machine, record the votes. 17 ayes, 0 nays. HB 355 has passed. Clerk call next bill.
On page 38 of the calendar, House Bill number 356 by Representative Lee, relating to Houston County.
Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 53 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted. The question now is final passage of HB 353. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 17 ayes, 0 nay. HB 356 has passed. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Chairman Lovern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a resolution.
Clerk, see the resolution.
House Resolution number 90 by the House Rules Committee, the special order calendar.
Move adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk call first bill on special order calendar.
On page 21 of the calendar, House Bill number 287 by Representative Bedsole, relating to legislative committees.
Representative Betso, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, every year we put the business of the state on hold to conduct the Legislative Medal of Honor ceremony. Over the years past, this is done by simple resolution. The bill before you right now would simply make this ceremony that we conduct each year a piece of a legislative act. So we're just moving it into law.
Okay, you've heard the gentleman's explanation of the bill. Question for the body is the passage of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 75 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted.
Call for final passage.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Mobile, Representative Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition with the gentleman here.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
How are you?
Good. How you
I'm
doing?
doing well.
I'm just trying to get an idea of what we're doing again.
Yeah.
This is definitely something I support. This is for the Legislative Medal of Honor for the police officers.
Yeah, you know, the ceremony that we conduct each year, we have members of this body that are current or past law enforcement. We also bring in members of the Senate that have the same background or just desire. And we hold a ceremony here on the floor. It's a joint session. We have honorees from the state of Alabama. We typically give out one Medal of Honor. That's the highest honor we give to law enforcement in this state. And then a couple years ago, we also started giving out a Medal of Meritorious Service because we found we have so many great honorees. We have another level of recognition to give them.
Right. And what does this bill do? And I appreciate the award.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, Officer Stephen Green, he was killed in the line of duty in Mobile, and we were able to give him this award posthumously.
Yeah.
A few years back, probably about 10 years ago, we was able to give him the award, and we just came up on the anniversary of when he was murdered last week. And so what does this bill do?
Yeah.
Besides what we already do, like what does this do?
The only thing this does is every year we typically convene that session through a joint resolution and we just do it every single year. All this does is move it into law. So we don't have to do a resolution each year.
Okay.
Simply by law, it gives us the authority to have this ceremony every year. It lays out the appointment process as well. So there's appointments from the House and Senate. And the Speaker is taking care of those here on the House side. So we're just moving it into a legislative act.
Okay. And as far as like the chair of the committee, are you the chair?
Well, the chair is actually, once the committee is assembled for the first time, the committee appoints or votes on the chair. So it could be a different person each time.
Are you up for consideration for that?
I would assume I would be. The past couple of years, Representative Reynolds had kind of passed it to me and asked if I could help coordinate it. So
Okay.
the past couple of years, I served in a coordinator role.
Okay. And I think that would definitely be good. I think when we have situations like this, having good level-headed people that's always really open to discussion and just try to make sure that we do things in the right way.
Yeah.
So I think, if they were going to get somebody, I just think about the gentleman that had this and was doing this for so many years since I was here. I think it'll be good for somebody like you. I would
Thank
definitely see supporting something like that.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
the
Look
support.
forward to voting yes on the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Question for the body now is passage of HB 287. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 100 ayes, 0 nays. HB 287 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and body.
Thanks the gentleman. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 32 of the calendar, House Bill number 289 by Representative Albright, relating to vital statistics.
Representative Albright, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 289 proposes to remove the date of disposition as a required field on a death certificate so families can get benefits and services in a more timely manner. With that, I ask for the BIR.
That is questions. Adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 98 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted. Representative Albright.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for final passage.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Clark, Representative Jackson.
Morning, Mr. Jackson. Doing well, sir.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the recognition. Representative, could you tell what your bill does now?
Say again?
What your bill does?
Removes the date of disposition off a death certificate as a required field.
Do you have your EpiPen?
No, sir, I need to go get it.
Well, yeah, you go get it, cause you
Yes, sir.
you might start going. I didn't know that about him last night, Mr. Speaker. It's quite a strange young man, but we are identifying some areas alike. But he shared something with us last night, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Enjoyed dinner with you, too.
Yeah, you're a real gentleman, and I admire you, and I thank you for your service here. And I know it had nothing to do with that bill you were speaking of, with the death certificate.
Yes, sir.
It's been a problem with those.
Well, sometimes it delays benefits or services that families could get because of backups in crematories.
Ooh. I was thinking more of insurance.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Benefits and services. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to mess with him a little bit, but I appreciate you, and I'm very happy that we are getting to serve in this chamber together.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the kind words.
It's pretty easy on him. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. There you go. That's it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Question for the body is final passage of HB 289. Clerk, unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the votes. 102 ayes, 0 nays. HB 289 has passed. That's your first bill?
It is, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, members.
Clerk, call next bill.
On page 12 of the calendar, House Bill number 267 by Representative Sells, relating to the Alabama Forestry Commission.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the recognition. HB 267 deals with updating some obsolete code with the Forestry Commission. Things like we don't have enforcement people with the forestry anymore, and those things were taken out. It upgraded when they have excess land to sell, the amount that was $20,000, which was land nowadays, it updated that to $50,000, which is more like what's going on. We don't have regional offices anymore in the Forestry Commission, so we deleted that in the code. It also allowed for online permits, for burning permits. If you're out in the area to burn and you don't have cell service and you light it and then you can't get your permit, you're in trouble. So it allows onlines like the night before to do those things. And it also allows the state forester to have some benefits. Right now, they do not get any annual or sick leave. And if there's any kind of prolonged type of illness, then there's not any pay involved, and they're not able to get in the donor program. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'll ask for the BIR.
Sorry about that. I was contemplating today is the chief's birthday, so we were talking about that. So I apologize for that. Margie, after we get, wait a minute, whoa. After we get done with this bill, I'm going to give you a moment of personal privilege. Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk, unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the vote. 95 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, there is a floor amendment, please.
Here to explain the amendment. Clerk, see the amendment.
Amendment to House Bill number 267 by Representative Crawford.
On line 6, it removes one word and puts in shall rather than may.
Okay, you heard the gentleman's explanation of the floor substitute. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays. Floor amendment has been adopted.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for final passage 267 as amended.
That is question's final passage 267 as amended. Clerk will unlock the machines and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machines, record the votes. 101 ayes, 0 nays. HB 267 as amended has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and members of the body.
Thank the gentleman. Chair recognizes the lady from Mobile, Representative Wilcox, for a moment of personal privilege.
Do I do it? Well, never mind. I'll just do my normal. Okay, let's celebrate the Chief's 60th birthday. He has joined the 60 Club. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chief. Happy birthday to you.
Clerk, call next bill.
On page 16 of the calendar, House Bill number 101 with substitute by Representative Halsey relating to motor vehicles.
Representative Halsey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to carry this bill over.
You've heard the sponsor's request. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The bill has been carried over.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 8 of the calendar, House Bill number 67 by Representative Keel. It has a substitute relating to voter information.
Representative Keel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 67 does basically three things. It drops the cost of the state voter roll to $1,000, does not allow the publication of Social Security numbers, emails, or phone numbers, and it cannot be used for commercial purposes. With that, I'd ask for the BIR.
That is question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 92 ayes, 1 nay. The BR has been adopted.
Ask for final passage.
That is, Chair recognizes the gentleman from Montgomery, Representative Hassel.
Well, I have an amendment for this bill. I'm gonna explain the amendment.
Okay,
This-
we've got to adopt the sub first.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I'll call you back up after
Okay,
it's
all right.
sub.
Move we adopt the sub.
Okay, you care to explain the sub?
The sub, it only redacts the Social Security number, email, and phone numbers.
Got you, very good. Ms. Jackson, you don't speak on the sub or the bill? Okay. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Clark, Representative Jackson, speaking on the substitute.
Thank you for the recognition, Mr. Speaker. What is the difference? You've mentioned it's not $1,000, right?
That's right. It's going to be $1,000 to a cap at $1,000.
How do you come to that cap?
It's an arbitrary number. So it was a penny. It is a penny per voter to buy it. And right now it's about $38,000. The $1,000 is average or below average for states. And so that's the way we came with that. We need to charge something because there's an employee there that manages the voter roll. And so the people that are buying the voter roll are paying that employee to manage that voter roll.
Is this consistent with other states around or just?
They're all over the board, but now $38,000, you can add up all the other states and they don't add up to $38,000.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson. You want to speak on the amendment? Bill? Okay. Okay. Question for the body is adoption of the substitute. Clerk unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 91 ayes, 1 nay. The substitute has been adopted. Representative Keel.
Move final passage.
Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Moore.
Speaker, I was doing some neighborhood business and didn't hear the amendment because what I was concerned about is what Mr. Haskell had in his amendment, that we could use it for boat builder type information. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just needed that clarity.
Thank the lady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Montgomery, Richard Hassel.
Well, I have an amendment.
Clerk, see the amendment.
Amendment to House Bill number 67 by Representative Hassel.
You care to explain your amendment to us, please?
Yeah. Now, this amendment will protect traditional campaign activities by confirming that using voter registration information for lawful political purpose under the Fair Campaign Act.
That's an agreeable amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, you heard the gentleman's amendment, and the sponsor has agreed upon the amendment. So if you are for the amendment, your vote will be yes. If not, your vote will be no. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. The amendment has been adopted.
All right, thank the body.
Thank the gentleman.
Move final
Representative Gill.
passage.
Chair recognizes the lady from Mobile, Representative Clark.
Absolutely. You got to have kids to understand that. I hate to have to explain it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good, good. So I got a little behind there. In the amendment, you said that it redacted what items from the list?
Social security numbers, emails, and phone numbers.
So if this bill passes, what will be on the voter list that we as candidates, that anybody can purchase from the Secretary of State's office? What is there now and what will be eliminated?
Well, what will be eliminated, what's not on there now is social security numbers. They will never be on there.
Okay, I didn't think they were on there.
Phone numbers are currently on there. They will not be on there. The voter ID number is on there. It will still be on there. Full date of birth, address, voter history, all that will still be on there.
And so why are we removing, and I heard some of this, but I want to hear it again, please. Sure. Why are we removing email addresses and phone numbers, information which is really helpful? And I think I explained in committee that in a recent election, in doing phone banking, making phone calls, we were able to tell a lot of voters where to vote when they were unsure, because as you well know, polling places sometimes change from a municipal election to a statewide election. And we had people who did not know that they were not going back to the place that they most frequently vote.
Well, the overwhelming majority of Alabamians do not know that their phone number is being sold by the state, and they do not want their phone number sold. I don't want my phone number sold. People are sick of spam calls, and they do not want the state of Alabama to be complicit in that. And so if you're for selling the phone number and your constituents are okay with that, that's between you and your constituents, but mine are not okay with that.
And is it the same with emails? People they don't appreciate getting email addresses about elections either?
I think people are sick of spam.
And so we're gonna eliminate one mere call by passing this bill. Can you do something to help me get rid of all of those other spam calls I get in the run of a day? I mean, this one more call.
I know. I wish I had that power. I would wave a wand and do that, because I get as many as you probably do. But this is one thing that we can control. I can't control the rest of it, but I can control this.
I wish you had that magic wand, and I really think that having those email addresses and phone numbers is helpful in helping people get to the right place on Election Day. Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Mobile, Representative Drummond. While she's on her way up here, I'd like to recognize a guest in the gallery, Dr. Christine Herring. She is the superintendent of the Auburn City School System and the guest of the Lee County delegation. Let's give her a big hand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will my colleague yield?
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't going to get up, but I was listening to Rep. Clark talking about what will be left on the voters list. So as a candidate, both Republican and Democrat, we now will have to resort to third-party vendors in order to get that information, to contact folks that we were elected to serve. Is that what I'm understanding?
It will not be on the voter list.
So what is the purpose of the voters list now? If I wanted to do, and you say your constituents don't want this, how do you know that? Did you do a poll? Did you use the information currently that's on the voters list to do a poll to find out what your voter feels? Because that's kind of what we do as politicians, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. That is our way of communicating with our constituents.
Sure. Well, I've received multiple feedback on social media, phone calls, people in my district.
Sir, we represent thousands of people. So if this bill is passed, from what I'm understanding, is then we will be at the mercy of a third-party vendor that we probably will have to pay more money to obtain that data to communicate with our constituents who we were elected to serve. I guess my question is, how do you propose as a Democrat, Republican, a Democrat, Independent, how are we supposed to communicate with our constituents if the voter list is no longer useful for us? I mean, I don't see a useful purpose anymore for it other than knowing Jane Doe exists, but I can't contact Jane Doe.
Well, I think the voter list is very useful because you could identify who voters are and are not. And so if there's somebody
But it's good for me to identify Jane Doe if I can't talk to Jane Doe and say, Jane Doe, my name is Representative Barbara Drummond, and this is what I stand for. I will then be subjected to a third-party vendor to find out how I can get to Jane Doe. I mean, when we talk about the state, I understand because I hate spam calls. You know, right now, I am so sick of all kinds of spam calls. You get them all kinds of day. But those are without purpose. I have a senior in my district right now because of a spam call who has given them over thousands of dollars. And we've turned it over to the police and we're fighting for that. So I understand that. But me, as a public servant, I don't know about anybody else, I am one of these folks who like to keep my hand on the folks that I represent. I don't sit in a cubbyhole and the only time they see me is on election day saying, can I have your vote? I want them to know, and I have no other way. I wish I was a genie and I knew all of the thousands of folks that I represent, but I don't. So what is the use of the voters list to a politician? What will I do with it now? If I can't contact them, do I just get it just to say they voted in the last election, but I can't contact them?
I'm not nearly as concerned about politicians using the voter roll as
Well,
I am.
I am. I'm not just a politician. I'm a public servant who folks thought enough of to send me to Montgomery to serve them. So when I was sitting back there listening to Rep. Clark, I kept saying, well, what is the purpose? Why would I even go and buy it if I can't use it? That means I will now have to go to a third-party vendor who, in all likelihood, will probably charge a heck of a lot more money.
Well, I think the third-party vendor will be a lot less expensive than $38,000 that we're
How do you
currently
know
paying
that?
for the bill.
How do you see all this subjective thinking doesn't go anywhere? How do you know that?
Well, what I do know is that the people of Alabama do not want their phone
You
numbers
don't even
sold.
know if it's people of Alabama. You just talked to a few folks in your district, and then you just covered the entire state of Alabama.
It's very
What if
unpopular.
you use that? Because sometimes I know I do, I will use my data to send email questions to folks in my district to see how they feel about things. I'll use one that was very popular, gaming. I wanted to know because, see, I'm one of these folks, I can take it or I can leave it, but I'm here to represent folks. I'm not just down here for me. I may feel one way, but like you, whatever the people want, but I don't go by just a few folks. I like to hear from many folks. I do town halls. I'm at more things when I leave here. Guys, I'm there 6 and 7 times a week. I told folks I can drop it like it's hot, and I didn't even know it was hot because I go to all kinds of things that are out of my realm of thinking. And this voters list is one of those ways that I can communicate with my folks. And I keep trying to understand the purpose. This is a document, this list is something that's terribly important for us to gain what our folks want from us as elected officials. So I see this as something that's going to be detrimental, not only to me as a Democrat, but also to you as a Republican. And I wouldn't make that decision based on a few people. I like to do polls. How will you do a poll? You've told me the email addresses are going to be gone too, right?
Yes.
So I just don't know, how am I supposed to contact these folks? Tell me, what do I do? You walk me through the process of what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy this voter list. And you tell me, what am I supposed to do with it? How do I contact those constituents?
Well, we don't give out email addresses now. And so if you're getting the email addresses...
There are phone numbers on there.
Well, you said you email you use the
do.
voter roll.
I'm just telling you, I do any and everything to communicate with them. Even I send text messages too. I love text messages.
You said you get the voter roll and send emails out to your constituents and ask questions.
Emails aren't on there, but I can have phone numbers where I can text them. I told you the mode of which I communicate. Whatever mode is out there, I take advantage of it. So tell me, with what's on there now and what you're going to take off, how am I to communicate? Walk me through the process.
We're going to take off the phone number.
Tell me, what good is that going to do for us? Because me and you in this boat together, are we not?
Yeah, I'm not in this for me, though.
But aren't we in this boat together?
I'm in it for the
Do you not want to hear from your constituents?
I want to hear from them. I'm not sure
tell me, how will you communicate with them?
I communicate with them often, the same way you just mentioned.
You just, what now?
I communicate with them often.
I didn't ask you, you do it often. I say, how do you? Tell me the mode of medium that you communicate with them.
I'm in my district all the time, working in the community. I work a regular job. People know where I work. They show up there. They contact me on social media. My email address, my phone number is on my website. It's on my Facebook page.
Would you say in the span of a week, in using all of those mediums, how many of your constituents do you reach?
Multiple. I don't know.
No, give me a number. I want a number.
I don't have a number.
Because we have thousands.
I don't have a number.
So give me a number.
I don't have a number.
Would you say the current voter list is very important for us, a mode of communication for us as elected officials?
I don't think so.
Why not? Why don't you just do away with the whole thing then?
I can't tell you the last time I looked up the voter roll and found a random voter and called them.
You don't do research? You don't do research?
That's not
I
research.
do research.
That's spam.
No, I do. I have people who communicate back to me. I do research. I research to sort of gain what they think about what we're doing up here. I mean, I'm Superwoman. Some think I am, but I'm not. But I'm Superwoman, but I can't get to everybody. I wasn't going to say anything. I read the bill last night, and I just sit there and say, why are we doing this? We're going to make somebody, a third party, richer on us. Because we're going to get that data, because the data is out there.
It is.
It's out there.
But the state's not
And taking it off the voter list where we have easy accessibility to it, it's not going to prevent that information. It's going to cause us. Are we pushing it to a third-party vendor?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Since we cannot get those phone numbers on the voters list, would you not agree that some third party will have to go buy it from?
What I will agree to is the state is not selling it.
No, that's not what I asked you. Well, who is selling it? Tell me, do you know who else is selling it out there?
I do not.
You've never used anybody outside of the state to try to get data? You never sent out text messaging? I mean, I got 3 this morning.
Lady's time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, lady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Marengo, Representative McCampbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the recognition. Gentleman yield.
Yes.
Thank you. Whenever we are dealing with voting issues and things that are dealing with voters, registration, and equitable treatment of voters, as a member of the minority in America and in Alabama, I have a real concern about whether or not I am to vote in Alabama. So I hope you aren't just shaking your head in agreement, but you understand the plight and really have an understanding of where we come from as black people when it comes to the issue of voting. Where in 1965, we had to fight for that right. So whenever you're dealing with voting, you're dealing with an issue that is very, very concerning to me. Now, the other thing is this. Have you ever received one of those cards from the Secretary of State's office saying your voting place has been changed or you need to register and tell us that you still live here? Have you ever received one?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Do you vote in every election?
Yes.
I vote in every election. Does your wife vote in every election, as you best you know?
She does.
My wife votes in every election. You know what happened in my household? My wife received one asking if she still lived at a house we've been living in for the last 25 to 30 years. Now, had I not seen it, because my wife is disabled, had I not seen it and read it and said we needed to send that back, you know what would have happened when my wife went down to try and vote the next election? Her name would have been off the list.
Right.
And see, the problem is this. You haven't experienced it. There may be some other majority members, you know, of our society that may have received it, but I've only heard from minority members in our society that have received that. Do you understand that in Mobile, in this last mayoral election, a lot of people's voting place were changed, and nobody knew it? These are the issues that caused me to have to come down here and address it. These are the things that the people of Alabama need to hear are going on. These are the things that I have problems with. And you know, that's, as an American, as an Alabamian, do I and should I not have a right to vote? Do I or should I not? And you're taking off the, you're taking the phone numbers off.
Right.
If I'm running for office and I realize some of my voters have been taken off of it, you tell me, should I not want to let them know that their name have been taken off?
Sure.
I should. So now you're telling me I probably need to get in my car and go visit every one of those that are taken off and let them know their name's off. Is that what I need to do?
Well, they should receive a card like your wife received.
So
The
what?
address is still on there.
Mr. Speaker, I'm having trouble here. Now, what were you saying, sir?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you should try to reach out to them, I would suppose.
I should try and reach out to them, you suppose. And that's what I'm saying. You're taking away a tool in which we use to reach out to our voters. I don't know what a third-party vendor might cost, but I'm willing to expend that money to try and help the people that elect me. And I'm willing to spend that money to help serve them and do the job that they elect me to do. But I don't think our state needs to make it harder and harder and harder for people, especially me and people that look like me, to vote. We put in a lot of effort just to try and say that America and Alabama should treat us equally. There are so many fights that we have to fight that you don't have to fight. You don't have to fight it. I wake up every morning having to fight the same fights every single day. You don't have to fight it. People don't like to hear that term, but it's a reality. There's a privilege for the color of your skin that is denied to others for the color of their skin. So, I just want you all to start thinking about when you're bringing these kind of issues, what you're actually doing to other people in this society. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to carry over to the call of the chair.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, the bill's been carried over to the call of the chair. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 35 of the calendar, House Bill number 7 with substitute by Representative Lomax relating to crimes and offenses.
Representative Lomax.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We passed this bill out of the House last year. Essentially creates updated penalties for making a terrorist threat against our schools. And it has a couple other requirements, including it requiring the principal of the school to immediately notify law enforcement if they have a credible terrorist threat. It creates a necessary suspension of a student if they do a credible terrorist threat, pending a mental evaluation. And it also requires a $10,000 restitution of any costs incurred for an evacuation and an emergency response to a credible terrorist threat. This is very close to a lot of our members. There's been a lot of terrorist threats against our schools, credible or otherwise, which have created a lot of mental health problems for our young people. The fact that you have elementary school students being treated for mental health is just beyond ridiculous. So with that, I call for the BIR.
Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Van.
Thank you for the recognition. You said this bill made it out the House last year, and you're making the amendments with the duty. Well, first of all, educators already have a duty to report. But tell me the other amendments that you've added on here.
Added some definitions to what actually is a credible threat to a school. It was very vague language before that. And the biggest thing is that there is now a restitution piece.
So if you don't mind, indulge me, what is now the language that gives definition to credible threat?
Sure, absolutely. It's A credible threat is a threat to commit a violent act against a person or to damage property by use of a bomb, explosive, weapon of mass destruction, firearm, deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, or other dangerous mechanisms.
And I guess the only other, maybe one or two questions I have, again, this is just for me to be able to process it. I don't necessarily have a problem with the bill, but I guess would those things have not already been deemed to be credible threat? And I never try to think for anyone.
Right.
That's not my job. But I guess I'm just perplexed by the fact that we have to spell that out to any educator. And then the other thing is, who already under the law has a duty to report, because my thing is, anytime someone calls in this country in this day and time and says that there's a bomb or the potential threat of a bomb, it ought to be taken seriously right then, because we have so many whack jobs that are out there from Washington to Alabama that are out there with all of this foolery. But the other thing is, the other thought that I was thinking as you were giving your monologue and dissertation regarding the bill is, when someone says, because there are numerous threats, no differently than the big steal of an election. And when someone says that there are so many threats or bomb threats, I guess for me, I would like to know where and how many, because to me, when you say that, it sounds an alarm, as if all of our schools, or so many schools, are getting death threats, bomb threats, and I don't have that information. And I take pride in Jefferson County schools and even Birmingham City schools. Those are the areas that I represent. But I guess I'm just confused when you say so many threats. So my question is, how many threats have we had? Is that number a number that has been computed or compiled? Because I would just like to know also how schools have been handling this, so we can make this bill an even better bill, because eventually someone will amend it in a few years, as they always do. So can you help me understand it?
Yeah, so I don't have the statistics on how many calls have been called in over the last 2 or 3 years, but what I can say is, if one student's afraid to go to school because a situation has occurred at their school, I think that's one too many. So this will put in place, obviously, the framework to where this isn't going to keep occurring.
And I understand that. I mean, that's the most basic answer that could be given. Number one, it's understood. We are here for the protection of our kids.
Yep.
I don't believe just because one incident happened that we amend laws. I've never been there. I support the bill. I don't have a problem with that. But I saw a bill last week, and then I saw on Facebook, the superintendents are supporting the bill. I called one of the superintendents. They hadn't spoken with anyone, had not talked with anyone, or had any type of conversation about that particular bill. But, folks are on Facebook promoting, telling a lie on behalf of the sponsor, that all of the superintendents, all of the educators, all of the educational associations are supporting the bill, and it's a lie. So I think, for me, when folks come with something, listen, if I don't know it, I don't know it. I don't come here and stand in this microphone and give a statistic. And I think that's a very dangerous thing to do when we sound the alarms in so many regards. And so for me, and no disrespect to you, I always ask this question because I like to know. And I want to go back to my folks and say, hey, this is a real problem here, and how do we, as best practices, how do we handle this? A lot of some of our governmental offices from time to time are shut down, and folks are going to always know differently than back in the day. Folks would yell out something aloud, and there have been many constitutional cases throughout the United States that have, with regards to certain types of behavior. So I just wanted to know, because again, and especially in certain areas that I represent, some of the schools sit in valleys. Just like with the active shooters from back in the day. And
Right.
those are things I like to know. So I want to be able to go back and say to my principals in the area, hey, listen, is this a real problem? There's legislation now on the books. Be mindful of that, what have you, for the purpose of that. But I just wanted to know what the definition is. And there was one other thing you said you brought the bill back to do, and what was that? You had to bring clarity as to what's considered a threat, a real threat, or whatever.
Yeah, and we do have a sub after we get to the BIR. The other thing was adding a few other places that fall under this, not just schools, but also hospitals, nursing homes, and other housing areas with disabled people.
Okay, so I guess I'm trying to understand that we're passing a law for them to give them the authority or best practices to handle these situations?
Well,
or you're making a crime, so give me the crime.
It allows them to prosecute terrorist threats.
Okay, can we not already prosecute? And the only reason I'm asking, I'm just trying to get it, because
It's an incredibly high hurdle today. Like, for instance, for it to be considered a terrorist threat, there has to be an evacuation of the building. But in some cases, they actually shelter in place in some schools.
Yeah.
So then you can't prosecute based on a terrorist threat.
And that's what I was just trying to find out, because
Right.
I hadn't thought about, I know they shelter in place. Okay, so you're saying now there would have to be an evacuation.
Well, that's under the current.
That's under the current, but you're now saying the shelter in place.
It's based on it's just based on the level of threat.
Okay.
So law enforcement will determine if they need to either shelter in place, evacuate, whatever it may be. But this allows them to prosecute based on the threat itself, rather than how the response was
All right, well,
ordained.
you got your color back this week. I'm glad you got your color back.
Thanks for the pep
You
talk.
can't never let your enemy know you're worried. Don't ever let your enemy know you're worried. Hey, it's a battle. Fight it out. Mo is no bigger than you. You have to treat Mo like a molehill, not like a mountain. Don't ever be afraid. That's why people climb the highest mountains. They don't worry about the small mountains. They worry about getting to the top of the biggest mountain.
Well, I'm worried about shutting down terrorist threats against our
You
schools
better be
and other
worried about
safe
shutting down
places.
Mo
So,
Brooks, but I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Reverend Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, my major concern here is that year that student is out of school. What happens then? They just sit at home, no learning,
They get a mental evaluation
but no
before
learning?
they can return to school.
But they got a year, but no learning during that year?
Well, if they end up creating a terrorist threat, they're absolutely causing an issue for the entire school.
But no learning?
They'd fall under the suspension rules.
So
whatever they are today.
we have reasons for not allowing that child to learn. We don't put any in place like a virtual learning or anything like that for that student to still continue to learn.
Well, there may be parameters for that. I'm more concerned about the entire school being able to learn because they've had to shut down for multiple days due to a terrorist threat.
Yeah, but still, that's one person. Each child, you don't ever know, and even in your lifetime or my lifetime, that one student that sat out that year that decided, I'm not going to do any learning on an education level, but I could learn to do some more criminal activity. And they might come and visit you, not on purpose, but it might be look like your house is good to rob or something. But I think that even with that, they are a child. And as you know, most people say their brains ain't really developed for critical thinking, even though I know this party don't like critical thinking, but we need to have that enforced. with our children, and some mechanism of learning needs to be put in place rather than saying we suspend a child for a year. I have that same concern with other offense that students make, and they're being suspended from school. We're sending them from school right to another life of crime with the gangs and everybody else that they could probably become a part of during that year that they're sitting at home. So I would have liked to have seen that in there because they're children. You know, I see the difference in someone that does a terrorist threat and they're an adult. But a child that's still in that age where they should be in school, even though they might not be with the other children, we should monitor to them and make sure that they're doing virtual learning or something. But no learning for a year, you know, that we're just opening a bigger door for other things to happen. And for them to be, they can even become more involved with more radical groups during that year's time. So we're giving the people that might want that mindset that opportunity to come and recruit them while they're out that year. So I think something needs to be in place for that. Just one black woman's opinion, you know, just looking at this, that we should never, for children that's in that age where they should be in school, reward them for their wrong by saying we're not going to require you still to have a learning environment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the lady. The question for the body now is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 88 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Representative Lomax.
Mr. Speaker, there was a committee sub.
You care to explain it?
Sure. It added additional covered places to include hospitals, nursing homes, and other building housing disabled or mobile individuals.
Every day explanation of the sub. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the vote. 87 ayes, 0 nays. Substitute has been adopted. Representative Lomax.
Move for final passage.
That's questions. Final passage of HB 7. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 85 ayes, 1 nay. HB 7 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, body.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 15 of the calendar, House Bill number 33 with substitute by Representative Bolton relating to driver licenses.
Representative Bolton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For HB 33, I have a committee sub here.
Let's get the BIR first.
I'm sorry. What HB 33 does is it
Representative Bolton, let's get the BIR first, please.
Yes.
Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 98 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Representative Bolton.
Thank you. Yes, so what the HB 33 in its original form would have done, it would have actually repealed Section 1628-40 of the Alabama Code, which deals with suspending the driver's license of students who don't attend school. And we have a committee sub that's going to modify that, and I'll explain it. Okay, what the sub does is the sub just rolls back the suspension age to 17. Currently, in current law, it's anyone under 19 that can get their driver's license suspended if they don't attend school or if they quit school and go to work. What this does, this rolls the law back to the age of 17 and under 17.
Yeah, you heard the gentleman's explanation of the committee sub. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 100 ayes, 0 nays. Committee sub has been adopted.
Okay. I'd like to move for final passage.
That is questions. Final pass as substituted. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 98 ayes, 0 nays. HB 33 has passed as substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, body.
Clerk, call next bill.
On page 21 of the calendar, House Bill number 274 with substitute by Representative Simpson relating to the Department of Corrections.
Representative Besso, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have the privilege of helping out our dear friend Representative Simpson in his absence. I have a bill here that's working in conjunction with the Department of Corrections. A couple years ago, Representative Simpson passed a bill that would make it illegal to fly drones over any one of our Alabama Department of Correction facility. This bill, and we have a sub that simply adds in the provision so that DOC can take proactive measures using technology to keep these devices from flying over their facilities.
Question for the body is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 96 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Representative Besso.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we have a committee sub just simply adjusting some language. One would be that these measures that DOC take are in compliance with Federal Communication Commission provisions and also remove some liability language from the original version.
Yeah, you heard the gentleman's explanation of the committee sub. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays. The committee sub has been adopted. Representative Besso.
Mr. Speaker, I'd call for final passage.
That is questions. Final passage of HB 274 as substituted. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 104 ayes, 0 nays. HB 274 has passed as substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank
and
you,
members.
gentlemen. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 33 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 66 by Senator Weaver relating to the University of Montevallo.
Representative Ellis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members. SB 66 does three things. It removes the requirement that for the University of Montevallo, it removes the requirement that the president be a former or educator by trade. It also shortens the term limits for the trustees from 12 years to 8 years. It also changes the quorum requirement from 5 members to 6 members. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I call for the BIR.
That is questions. Adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If there's no further questions, I call for final passage.
And that is questions. Final passage of SB 66. Clerk unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 101 ayes, 1 nay. SB 66 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members.
Thank you, gentlemen. We have some guests in the gallery. We'd like to recognize Tallapoosa County School System. Our guest of Representative Ed Oliver, Diana Miller, Principal of Danville Elementary, Casey Davis, Superintendent of Tallapoosa School System. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you for being with us today. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 13 of the calendar, House Bill number 159 by Representative Bolton relating to retirement benefits.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 159 applies to supernumerary retirement benefits for a handful of circuit clerks that are still in the supernumerary system, and it makes it to where they can draw their retirement later on when they retire. It just applies to a small number, and with that, I'll move for the BIR, please.
That is questions. Adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 98 ayes, 0 nays. BIR has been adopted. Representative Bolton.
Thank you. Yes, as I explained before, this only applies to a small number of circuit clerks, and we're trying to move past the supernumerary retirement system they have at this time. And with that, I'd like to move for passage.
That is question is final passage of HB 159. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 93 ayes, 0 nays. HB 159 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, body.
Thank the gentleman. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 18 of the calendar, House Bill number 130 by Representative Hill relating to teacher retirement system.
Representative Lipscomb, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Representative Hill, this is HB 130. It will allow certain employees of the St. Clair County Day Program to purchase prior service credits in the Teacher Requirement System of Alabama at their own expense and their employer's expense as required by law. We passed this bill last year, and I would appreciate another one. Thank you so much. I would ask for the BR.
That is questions, adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 96 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Representative Lipscomb.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With nothing further, I would ask for passage of the bill.
And that is questions, final passage of HB 130. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 96 ayes, 0 nays. HB 130 has passed.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank the gentleman. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 31 of the calendar, House Bill number 292 by Representative Ream relating to motor vehicles.
Representative Ream, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, under existing law, any disabled veteran whose physical disability is more than 50% may obtain a special disabled veteran license plate. This bill would allow any disabled veteran whose physical disability is at least 50% to obtain the special disabled veteran license plate. And I will add, this will be the third year we've passed this, and hopefully the Senate will get their work done on it. With that, Mr. Speaker, I ask for the BIR.
That's questions, adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 104 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Representative Ream.
And with that, I ask for final passage, Mr. Speaker.
That is questions, final passage of HB 292. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. HB 292 has passed.
Members, thank you. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 11 of the calendar, House Bill number 256 by Representative Bedsole relating to license plates.
Representative Betso.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this is a bill we've had before us and passed out of this House a few different times. It simply extends the period in which license plate designs are valid. Currently, under law, it's 5 years. This would simply extend it to 10 years. Mr. Speaker, with that, I'd ask for the BR.
That is questions, adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 103 ayes, 1 nay. BR has been adopted. Representative Betso.
We supposed to have a sub or a amendment. We had one we were working on to change the effective date. It says 2025. Mr. Speaker, just realized the effective date on the bill is wrong, so we need to make a quick amendment. And so if I could just ask to carry it over.
Call the chair.
Call the chair.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It has been carried over. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 17 of the calendar, House Bill number 166 by Representative Keel relating to motor vehicles.
Representative Keel, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill would allow law enforcement officers the option of towing a vehicle if the driver does not have a driver's license. I call for the BIR.
Yeah, you heard the gentleman's explanation of the bill. The question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 100 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted. Representative Keel.
Move final passage.
That is questions. Final passage of HB 166. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock machine, record the vote. 99 ayes, 1 nay. HB 166 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 36 of the calendar, House Bill number 188 with substitute by Representative Baker relating to crimes and offenses.
Chairman Baker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a bill, members, that we've had before us that passed out of the body last year. This involves terrorist threat, somewhat similar to the bill that earlier was presented. This bill is just a little bit different, more straightforward in regards to it. Just not requires, but it removes then that a threat must be credible and imminent for it to be a charge then levied. It does not change the crime or the punishment for that, which would still be a misdemeanor.
You heard the gentleman's explanation of the bill. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Mobile, Representative Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the gentleman yield?
Certainly.
I know you and I talked a lot about this last year, so I'm just trying to understand what the difference is, and so you said the penalties remain the same.
That is correct, unless there's a second offense. If there's a second offense, then this bill does have that. Then it's elevated then to a Class D felony.
So then the second offense elevated now. So what prompted us to remove the credibility of the threat?
There have been situations there was increasing some of the call-in threats across the country and even here in Alabama, and this actually in one of the two counties that I represent then, in Baldwin County, in which there had been some threats called in. This goes back to actually to last year when I also had the bill moving at that time. But it was where the DA was not able to move forward with trying to prosecute on this. That is, so it was the fact that it could not be deemed that it was credible. It's where whenever a threat is called in, whether it be a student that's at the school, it could be a student, a former student, maybe in their early 20s, and they've got friends at the high school, and they thought this was a sort of a neat, mischievous thing to do and called in a threat. But it is something that needs to be treated very seriously because the cost that's involved in this, because every threat, once it's called in, particularly in today's day and age of active shooters and other types of violent activities, it's where it sort of sends a little bit of hysteria into the community. You have a number of parents that will not be returning their students back to school for 3 or 4 days after the call in, because that is where that has to be investigated. That is, when I say investigated, the campus then has to be looked at very thoroughly before they then feel, okay, we can now allow then school to resume, so whether they have to cancel school for that day or whatever they might would do. But it's where a lot of times they're still not, as they investigate and eventually find out, okay, it was a student, they were just being mischievous. The DAs then felt that they did not have then the legs to stand on to prosecute in any way, even though it's a misdemeanor. They just didn't feel they could do that simply because they could not prove that that student could have carried out that threat.
Okay, so we're gonna remove the burden of proof then? Because
I don't think it's removing the burden of proof.
it sounds like we're saying that because the DAs can't prove that it's a credible threat, then we're gonna totally remove the requirement of proving that it's a credible threat.
Yeah, they're going back. So you have then what would be then a first degree then, such as terrorist threat, which that's a whole different dynamic in regards to more stringent types of criteria that qualifies that threat or charge to be made against someone with that. For in the second degree, which that could be where it's just simply, once again, we hear sort of the phrase kids being kids and all, and so you've got to call in threat, but it's got to be treated with all, seriousness until it's proven otherwise. If you understand where I'm going with that. So I'm saying for the school campus, the teachers, the students, whatever. So for the short time thereafter, it's very disruptive to the school setting, to the educational process. And DAs were not able, because they could not prove this student could have carried out that, say if it's a bomb threat
Right.
They cannot prove that they could have carried that out. And so this simply removes then that it does not have to be shown that it's a credible threat. It's simply the fact that they have called in this threat, and it has been extremely disruptive then to the educational process, not just for that day, but for several days thereafter.
So who are we targeting with this? Traditionally, who calls in the terrorist threats? Is it usually students?
I don't have data I can only give you my opinion on this. It does seem that a lot of this is done by those that would be the younger sector. So whether it be, perhaps it could be students, it could be former students still young in age. They could be in their early 20s or such, and they still have student friends back in high school. And
Okay.
they simply think that this is something sort of a cute thing to do or whatever in their eyes, not really understanding. It's just like, this is maybe the best analogy, but you just don't go, or talking as you're in line to get on the plane, you're talking about bombs and all. It's just, it's like, no, you don't need to be, that's
Right.
something now, because now all the next thing you know, then TSA is bringing in agents because now they've got to, we heard bomb being mentioned. And so
Right.
to me, students, I don't think look at it necessarily when I say students or younger people, even if they're out of school. And so it may not be looking at it with the seriousness that has to be treated once that's called in. And so it's still a misdemeanor. It simply allows it to.
It's a misdemeanor, but the second offense make it a felony, right?
Well, that's. I think now if they continue to do that after understanding, okay, we didn't understand whoever it is that's called in the threat. They didn't really understand that. So if there's a pattern, then I think that does qualify for now. Not qualifies that. It doesn't mean it has to be, but that does qualify that to be then a Class D felony. So it does up it if they continue that pattern.
So what about like students with mental illnesses? How do we deal with those when it come down to this?
That's still the discretion of the DA. The DA, this does not force them into this. This just allows them then to be able to prosecute.
Okay. So this bill is probably targeting younger people. Like, I guess I'm always concerned when we come up with things because I feel like young people do stupid things sometimes. And we've all been there.
Right.
And we can think back, at our age now and think back to when we were in high school and be like, man, I would have never done something like that. You
Right.
think back about it. And I'm not saying giving any excuse.
No.
They're wrong for what they're doing.
Right.
But they're very immature. Sometimes people think it's a joke. It could be a dare. It could be a bet, whatever the case may be, which, yes, it causes some level of disruption.
Yeah.
But if at the end of the day, no serious body injury or harm has been done, I'm not saying no harm, no foul, because it's still a foul. But I'm just always concerned when we have increased penalties, on
once again-
situations like that. Well, we are having an increase for the second offense.
What? Do you not think that is reasonable then
I'm
for a
not-
pattern?
I'm not-
I'm saying
I
for a
don't know.
pattern in
Felonies,
disruption?
felonies are. I don't know how reasonable I think a felony is for it. Like, I think that's a tough situation. Like, in this body, we just created a situation where, for capital offenses, we're not gonna allow youthful offender. It's kind of like it's a delicate situation where we know that you have some level of umbrella of protection that these young people could possibly fall under because a lot of them make immature decisions. But in this situation, this immature decision could lead to a felony, which we all know if you get an F, we talking school, you get an F on your report card, it's hard to get it off. And this is an F on this student's report card that's gonna really make it difficult for them to be able to get off. And it's removing, it sounds like two things. It's expensive and it causes some level of disruption. And it sounds like the district attorneys are having a hard time proving the credible threat. Is that an issue, proving the credible threat?
Trying to show that the student had the ability. Once again, we're sort of being hypotheticals because we never know anyone, whether it be a student, could be an adult that calls in a threat. So we never know who that could be. But anyway, it could be someone in their 30s or whatever. So, so this doesn't apply. I mean, it applies. It's equally regardless of age on this.
Right,
But-
it's like a blanket, right?
Right. But the thing that I think that's important on this, I assume that you maybe, because this is existing law right now, is that it's a misdemeanor. So I
No,
don't
but
mess
the,
with that.
but
I
the
don't touch
existing
that.
law is that you have to prove the credible threat.
Right. Well, it removes that. Right.
It's
'cause
removed.
Because it removes that because right now it must be proven on that. So I guess the question I would ask, should a threat be treated as serious? Should a call-in threat be treated as serious?
Yes.
Until what point?
No, I'm saying the burden of proof. We're talking after the fact. The after the fact part is proving that the threat was threatable, right? The threat was credible. And based off what you're saying is that the district attorney's office is having a hard time proving the threat was credible, so we're gonna remove the fact that they have to prove that the threat was threatable, I guess in prosecution.
Yeah, I don't think it's proving the credible threat. They could already might have determined that, but it may have taken days to determine that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Van.
Don't know when he's gonna fix it. Baker, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, listen, help me understand your bill versus Dr. Lomax's bill.
The Lomax bill deals more so with the somewhat the schools. They both involve then threats and such that might be, and mine is not so much relative to schools, even though schools is where maybe the thrust of this originated for the bill. On the Lomax bill, that's one that deals more so with the obligations of the school in regards to how once a student then has been found then to have committed then this threat, then what they must do in regards to whether it be the student removed from the school for a period of time and things like that. So my bill doesn't address any actions by the school they must take or anything like that. So that's the primary difference. Does that make sense?
Well, now you know, you should never ask me if something makes sense. Now,
Well, let me say, did I clarify that for you? I guess.
well, because I process things just a tad bit differently now. I do. Listen, give me your dissertation on what your bill does, your opening monologue.
Okay. The bill removes the requirement that a threat must be credible in order for it to be classified as a terrorist threat in the second degree. It does not change the penalty at all.
But it's still contradictory. I don't care how you look at it. I get the penalty, but your language is somewhat contradictory with regards to the definition versus whatever Dr. Lomax came up on his bill. Those are two different things. Those are conflicting. I must be missing it because that's very conflicting.
On his bill, and you're correct. On his bill, it does have a definition for credible. On this is where I simply remove. Now it doesn't change it for the first degree.
I'm not dealing with that. But listen to what I'm saying.
Second degree simply.
Your definition, if passed, is somewhat contradictory. I don't care how you flip it up. You know, I don't have a problem with the bill.
Mine doesn't have a definition for credible.
I thought you said it removes, but did I not hear you?
It removes the word credible, but it doesn't have a definition for credible.
But if you're dealing with the threat, just follow me on this. Listen, I'm not here to, again, I say this every time, I'm not here to stop you from doing that. I don't try to stop you. I don't try to do anything. I'm just here to point out things. That's my role, and I've said I get an A for that. Listen to what I'm saying. If the construct of your bill, however it's curated, versus his bill, ultimately, if I'm not as astute in the law, with regards to his bill or your bill, let me say, his bill, then your bill with regards to that little section is for not it. I don't know how I can't get you to, I'm confused, but again, I'm not here to whatever, but it is a slight contradiction to, doesn't matter how you create that section, it is contradictory to what his bill does ultimately.
Yeah. The two main differences that I see between the earlier bill and this bill, one would be that on that bill it does clarify or it gives a definition for.
I got it, but yours doesn't. It takes.
Yeah, mine just removes the word credible without even changing anything about
it removes the word
definition.
credible, but we're dealing with those types of crimes, and so when you remove that definition and then he adds his definition, why are you removing the word credible or no longer giving terminology to the word credible itself? That's all I'm trying to get to, because I don't care how you look at it, and I get it. Listen, that is contradictory. There's no way around it.
No.
I mean, again, I'm not here to kill your bill, but that bill that language is contradictory. I don't care how you flip it up to throw it in the pan, smack it down, whatever you want to do to that language. With regard, because I'm only now focusing in on the subject matter of the threat itself.
Right.
I'm not here to, again, you do what you want to do, you're going to move it out. I'm hoping someone in the Senate will catch it if it goes upstairs.
Right.
But it is, yeah.
Right. Great question. It's a really good question.
I usually have good ones.
You do.
I try my best.
With that, basically, it's what bills sometimes that might have similar substance.
I mean, I get that. Now, you know when y'all start talking to me basic 101 stuff, now you know that kind of stuff goes over.
But no, I got that. Would you allow me to
finish?
respond?
What's understood does not have to be spoken. That's something, and that's why sometimes when I'm here, those things, because that's how we fool the public. What's understood does not have to be spoken. That's, to me, as I would say, should be common sense. But as I was always taught, sometimes common sense is not common. I get that. I'm only dealing with the substantive issue of that definition. You can leave it the way it is. I do hope someone in the Senate does massage it just a little bit, because in the end, it is, it is a slight deviation.
You're correct. Can I respond to your question?
Yes, sir,
You've asked an excellent question. Okay. So it's where sometimes you have bills that may be about similar substance, and it's where of those two bills, they have some slight differences. One may continue on its path, one may fall by the wayside, whatever. So with that, although we have similar substance on this, and I think that's why, mine does not have a definition for credible, or as what that bill does. So I'm saying either one of those, that bill may continue or this bill might continue, but you are correct, they do have that difference.
I know, all I'm saying is, and I get that, that's why we amend bills, that's why we create legislation that ultimately 20, 30, 40 years people come and they continue to curate for that purposes. All I'm saying is I'm only dealing with the issue of the threat.
Right.
And we just dealt with that bill. Again, I don't necessarily have a problem with your bill, but I just wanted to get the clarity on that one particular aspect of it, because that is truly that section only dealing with the verbiage of the threat, nothing else. So we don't have to go into any other aspect of it. That section is problematic. And I guess my question to you, just in summation, is why are we removing or what have you, that language? What was the rationale? Maybe I should have asked that.
Great question. Okay, both the genesis behind this are both former then Representative Matt Woods, now Senator, and he and I each had bills that were somewhat similar last year. We each were operating, that is, unknowing of the other that was beginning to formulate such similar bills regarding then terrorist threats. It's where, as Senator Woods and I have talked, and now also then with Representative Lomax carrying the bill, the House version of his bill here today, it's where Senator Woods and I have talked, and so we're each fine. So it's where we recognize that my bill might travel and his then fall by the wayside. His bill then may continue forward, mine fall by the wayside. We're each comfortable with that, but they each have a different way somewhat to maybe achieve a desired goal.
And I get that. Listen, I get all that. I don't have no problem with all of that. We got it. We know how this process works. But the issue becomes if both of them travel and make it home. See, we can take different routes to get home.
Okay, I got you.
But at the end of the day, my whole thought process is every now and then with the GPS will direct you to multiple places. That depends, and then you have a problem.
Okay.
So I understand all that. I'm only asking you as the sponsor, and I get it. You know, I move legislation, and I know how that works. But I appreciate the opportunity. I was just trying to figure out why we're doing it. I still don't understand it, but hey, it's a lot of things I don't know and I don't understand.
I might could give you some quick comfort here.
You better do it quick. I have
time.
32 seconds.
Okay. That is, should, let's say, the Senate version then continue to travel then to our body then and make it through our body then I'm completely fine with my bill then just being derailed, pulling my bill in the process.
How you all do it. I just only ask because I do see where that language is very contradictory. I have no problem with it.
You brought up a great point. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Sure, thanks, lady. Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 93 ayes, 6 nays. The BR has been adopted. Chairman Baker.
That did have just a slight then technical change on just a couple of words, the lawyerly words that were changed on that, such as gravity and such in the bill. And so I would offer then the substitute then to be adopted at this point.
You heard the gentleman's explanation of the substitute. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 94 ayes, 4 nays. Substitute has been adopted. Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Mr. Speaker. I do move for final passage as amended as substituted.
That is questions. Final passage, HB 188. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 83 ayes, 10 nays. HB 188 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members
Thank
of
the
the body.
gentleman. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 3 of the calendar, House Bill number 35 by Representative Bolton relating to motor vehicles.
Representative, though, before you get started, I got a guest in the gallery we'd like to recognize. The Superintendent of Education for Chambers County, Sharon Weldon. We certainly are glad to have you with us here, and she is the guest of our new member, Christina Nelson. Let's give her a big hand. Thank you for being with us. Representative Bolton.
Yes, sir. HB 35 is the squat truck bill that we passed out of the House last year, and it didn't make it on the last day of the calendar to the Senate. I think everybody's familiar with it. With that, I'll move for the BIR, please.
Next question is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 93 ayes, 2 nays. The BR has been adopted. Representative?
Yes, sir. If there are no more questions, I'd move for final passage.
That is the questions. Final passage of HB 35. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 93 ayes, 8 nays. HB 35 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, body.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 8 of the calendar, House Bill number 139 with substitute by Representative Crawford relating to food enrichment.
Representative Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 139 we passed last year. We passed a bill last year, dealt with the enrichment of corn mesa. I did not put in the deviation of error. So we're having to put in the deviation of error that the industry uses, and then we also added the organic to it. And with that, I ask for the BR.
That is questions, adoption of the BR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 102 ayes, 1 nay. The BR has been adopted. Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Speaker, I have a sub.
you care to explain your sub, please?
The sub exempt snack foods
Okay.
and gave a definition of what a snack food is.
Okay, you heard the gentleman's explanation. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 101 ayes, 1 nay. Substitute has been adopted.
Mr. Speaker, I have a floor amendment.
Clerk, see the amendment.
Amendment to House Bill number 139 by Representative Crawford.
You care to explain your amendment, please?
In that area deviation, Ag and Industries wanted it worded differently, how for them to do their testing. And also it removes organic from it where there is no additives at all. Where folks can still buy it that's organic.
Very good. Thank you for the explanation. The clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays. The amendment has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
I'd like the final passes as subbed in a minute, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Morgan, Representative Yarborough.
Thank you for recognition. I won't be long. I spoke on this last year, and RFK has been sounding the alarm on this. If you know about the MTHFR gene mutation, 40% of people cannot process folic acid, and they can, however, process folate. Folic acid is the synthetic version of folate, and so it can actually turn toxic in the bloodstream if people cannot metabolize and process folic acid. And so I would submit that the better option, mothers who have babies can pursue that as supplements and even, I think, get it through Medicaid, Medicare if they need it, folic acid. But there's a lot of health concerns around folic acid. It's been widely discussed. RFK just, thankfully, I think, inverted the food pyramid to more protein and less carbs. And so there's things that have been said that need to be done, but there's a lot of studies now that show, like I said, 40% of people cannot metabolize and properly absorb folic acid because it's the synthetic version of folate. So I won't delay it, but prolong it. But that's just my issue with the bill. So anyway.
Yes, I understand. And UAB, those people have problems with natural folate handling those, but UAB, the doctor says it is expelled out of body, so it's not an issue health-wise. Those symptoms still occur whether you expel it out of the body or not, according to UAB and their studies. So hopefully we'll achieve what we're trying to achieve is childhood diseases, spinal bifida, and things like that.
Sure. No, I just think it would be better left up to people to make their choices and let food be more natural. Let food be what food is. But I won't take it more time.
All right. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And mine is just a comment that was just made. We are supposed to be an intelligent body, and I take issue to anybody that get up here and make reference to what RFK say, someone that has no science background, no education in the subject. And I just think that what we do on this floor ought to be bound in facts. And I understood what you said that the statements from UAB, which are far more credible. Because we as a lawmaking body,
No.
there are people that listen to us.
That's not what.
And when
that's
we
not what
when
this
we
was.
pass on
No, it's going to happen.
unfounded information, so it impacts some people. So I think before we get to it, might be our way of thinking. But if it doesn't have any documentation or data to prove it, I don't think we need to get up on this floor and impact people's lives who hear us as legislators making reference when it deals with the human body from somebody that don't have any training in anything to deal with how the body functions. So I appreciate your statement, but I encourage us, let's go back to the old landmark where we follow facts and things that have been proven rather than a witch doctor's testimony.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, resident Van.
You still want to?
Request for the body's final passage of HB 139. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 81 ayes, 14 nays. HB 139 has passed as substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and
Thank you,
members of the
gentlemen.
body.
Mr. Clerk, let's call back HB 256.
On page 11 of the calendar, House Bill number 256 by Representative Bedsole relating to license plates.
Representative Betso.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for calling back up. Apologize for the delay there. Representative Holsey, I believe, is going to be bringing an amendment to help correct this effective date.
Representative Halsey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment is going to replace line 258 through 259 on page 10 with the following. Section 2, this act shall become effective on January 1 of 2027.
Okay, you heard the lady's explanation of the floor amendment. How does the sponsor see it?
Yes, sir. It's friendly amendment.
See it as friendly amendment. All those in favor, clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. All those in favor say aye. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 102 ayes, 3 nays. The floor amendment has been adopted.
Yes, sir. If that's no further questions, call for final passage.
That is questions. Final passage of HB 256 is amended. Clerk will unlock the machine, and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 101 ayes, 3 nays. HB 256 as amended has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank the gentleman. I'd like to recognize Lee County Young Leaders. The guest of the Lee County delegation is in the gallery with us. Give him a big hand, please. Mr. Clerk, let's call back HB 67.
On page 8 of the calendar, House Bill number 67 by Representative Keel relating to voter information.
Representative Keel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have negotiated on an amendment that someone's going to bring, so I call for final passage.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Montgomery, Representative Ensler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the gentleman yield.
Sure.
All right, well, thank you for taking the time to talk through this amendment. Obviously, there have been concerns expressed about the sharing of phone numbers. I know Representative Hollis brought this up, that at least giving people the ability to opt in to have their number shared.
Sure.
So on that registration card, or if they're updating their information, this amendment would allow people to opt in that they're okay with their number being shared.
Clerk, see the amendment.
Amendment to House Bill number 67 by Representative Ensler.
Jamie.
Yes, sir. Yes, to be very clear, so people's voter their voter's phone number will only show up on the voter roll if they affirm that they want it on there.
Correct.
And so that's a friendly amendment.
Okay, you heard the amendment. The gentleman accepts the amendment. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 100 ayes, 0 nays. The amendment has been adopted.
Move final passage.
Chair recognizes the lady. Okay. Question for the body's final passage of HB 67. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 85 ayes, 16 nays. HB 67 has passed.
Mr. Speaker, I do want to say that not only is this House Bill 67, but it's also House Bill 67. And you have to have kids to understand that. I know. I'm going to get grilled at home.
That would have been funnier about an hour ago. Representative Lance, do you want a moment of personal privilege? Your light's on. Okay. Good day. Certainly appreciate everybody's a great day. Everybody's good conversation. One thing I will ask everybody as we go home, and certainly be safe, and keep Representative Simpson in your prayers. And certainly, I talked to Marina last night. I think he has done great. So with that, Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Having previously agreed to meet next Tuesday at 1 p.m., I move the House stand in adjournment.
All those in favor say aye. We are adjourned.